HBG's Global War, 1939, the end of round 14. There are 13 Axis-owned victory cities. It's going to come down to 2 victory cities. Now, Japan did take Stalingrad. They only had 1 artillery left. They could have taken it no matter what because they had so many planes, but they did not lose any planes, maybe a couple to AA guns. And Japan's bomber force is ridiculous. I don't know what that is. 8 bombers and 2 heavy bombers. They also have 6 more bombers on the way. However, there was a lot of back and forth here trying to open up a hole for these mechs so they could get into Moscow. Italy came in with a bunch of units trying to open this up just so maybe I could take Moscow. It didn't happen. So that Moscow crush is off the table. So it comes down to 2 cities and 2 cities only. And those are going to be Warsaw and Leningrad. Now, as you can see, Warsaw has nothing in it. And look a little bit closer. Now, there's some Germans here. There's 8 Germans that can get into Warsaw. But here, the U.S. has, on this card, the U.S. has about 8 units. Not enough, but the U.K. goes next. And here, the U.K. has about 20 units. So there's no hope. Now, there's no hope that the Axis can hold Warsaw. There's no battle that would ever go in the favor. It's 20 against 8. Also, the UK has These are Canadian heavy bombers. So 3 Canadian heavy bombers. So Warsaw is taken. No one can stop it. So it all comes down to Leningrad. Now, in Leningrad is every empire, I guess, is in Leningrad. This is what's in Leningrad. This flew in with a couple of Italians flew in. Japanese flew in. A mech ran in. A few Germans. Now there's also some hole punching here, or potential. Germany was trying to get through here so they could get more into Leningrad, but the battles just kept going back and forth. Everyone was in there fighting. It's very fun, very interesting. Everyone's looking for a hole puncher, but without fast movers, hole punchers aren't I guess you call them can openers, but whatever you want to call them, it didn't happen. So everything comes down to Leningrad. Germany, the UK had to get the German Navy out of the way, so they couldn't do what they wanted. Germany could have. The UK has so many options right now, but they had to get rid of that Navy because I saw that there's only 2 cities that could be taken. After the failure for the can openers next to Moscow, I saw that it has to be Leningrad and Warsaw. So Italy, knowing this, took in their heavy bomber against the Allied Navy. This is a Russian battleship, 4 U.S. transports, 4 Canadian transports, and 4 UK transports. This Navy has to survive for the Allies to win. So this Navy is going to get 1.5 hits per round, first round. The Germans have a grand total of 2 planes, a attack bomber and a fighter, which gets 1/13 hits per round. So the game comes down to this Navy surviving, and then the game comes down to how many units here can get into here. So it's really a completely 50-50 battle game. The U.S. is going to do... The U.S. is here. They have a theoretical second punch, but they're going to be taking their transport hits first because they only have 4. So we just basically have to hope that the transport rolls some 1s. So there's no idea. I'm being very tactical with this. Usually I don't explain what I'm doing that much, but I like to talk in a general way. But this Navy had to die, and it did. But now there's just nothing left. And thankfully, Germany doesn't have... If Germany had 1 more plane, then they'd actually be game over. But they have 2 planes. So it all comes down to rolling some 1s on 12 transports. Bunch more things that are interesting. Italy's down in South America. Japan's coming. Japan is in Mexico and Panama. Japan's in Alaska. Japan cannot get ahead in the naval battle. I guess it doesn't matter now because it's over next turn. But Japan wanted the U.S. to spend some money. So that's what Japan did. Every turn they just made the U.S. spend a lot of money so they couldn't build tanks to get into Europe. And it worked. Japan's actually all over the place. Japan's very fun to play. Now, the game ends next turn. But there's a chance I might keep going. But I'll think about that next turn. I'll look at the board. Who knows? I literally can't predict what's going to happen. I'm trying to outsmart myself, but man, it's a fun game. When it's that close, where you don't know who's going to win until round 15, and it's a 50-50 battle coming down to 1 naval battle and 1 land battle that both could go 2 ways. It's a very exciting game. And it is kind of ridiculous that Japan literally owns, if you look at the map, try not to make people dizzy. If you look at the map, it's ridiculous that Japan owns almost half of the world. It's silly, but 1 out of every 20 games goes like that. I went all in Germany, didn't plan to. This game started out as all in Russia, but when Germany did so well with French ships and French territories, it just changed to what everyone was going to do. And I will see you next turn for the winner.